What makes a man truly strong? If you think it's all about biceps and brute force, think again. Stoic philosophy, born in ancient Greece and refined in Rome, teaches us that true strength goes far beyond physical prowess. Figures like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius remind us that resilience, virtue, and self-control are the real measures of greatness. But what about weakness? Through the Stoic lens, weakness isn't just about physical frailty. It's about straying from principles like rationality, integrity, and emotional stability. A weak man may be controlled by impulses, blame others for his troubles, or lack the courage to face challenges head-on. These traits aren't just personal pitfalls, they're barriers to living a fulfilled and meaningful life. In this video, we'll uncover 10 telltale signs of weakness in a man, drawing on timeless Stoic wisdom. More importantly, we'll explore how recognizing these traits can pave the way for growth and character building. If you're ready to embrace strength of mind, body, and spirit, or just curious about how philosophy can sharpen your edge, this journey is for you. Let's dive in. 1. Dependence on external validation. When a man relies on external validation to feel valued, his mindset becomes fragile and vulnerable. Constantly seeking approval from others erodes his ability to self-assess. Every compliment or criticism, no matter how small, can profoundly impact his sense of self-worth. This behavior not only reflects a lack of confidence, but also creates a negative cycle, where he becomes increasingly dependent on others' opinions. To feel deserving, such a man often abandons his own principles and values to align with others' expectations. He hesitates to express his true thoughts, fearing rejection or judgment. This leads to a lack of authenticity in his actions and demeanor, gradually eroding his unique identity. Unknowingly, he allows external opinions to dictate his decisions and actions, trapping himself in a framework imposed by others. The consequences of this dependency are instability in both his psyche and relationships. A man without emotional self-control becomes swayed by the fluctuations of his external environment. He not only feels pressured, but also becomes harder to connect with. Due to the inconsistency in his interactions with others, those around him, especially family and colleagues, may find it challenging to build genuine relationships with him because of the lack of clarity in his character and attitudes. Stoic philosophy emphasizes that true strength does not lie in what others think of you, but in your ability to define your own worth. When a man shifts his focus inward, he discovers the power of living in alignment with his principles and values. This not only fosters inner peace, but also strengthens his self-esteem, enabling him to cultivate more meaningful relationships. The ability to stand firm against external opinions is a testament to psychological strength and maturity, a core tenet celebrated by Stoicism. 2. Lack of self-control. A man who lacks self-control is like a ship without a rudder, easily swept away by the currents of emotions and desires. Instead of mastering himself, he allows fleeting impulses to dictate his actions, trading long-term happiness and goals for momentary pleasures. This not only undermines his ability to make sound decisions, but also erodes the trust others place in him. Imagine a man determined to improve his health. He sets a goal to exercise regularly and adopt a healthier diet. But within weeks he succumbs to the temptation of a sugary pastry. At first he tells himself just this once won't hurt. But this indulgence quickly becomes a habit. As a result, he fails to achieve his goals, and the mounting sense of failure weakens his self-confidence. In Stoic philosophy, self-control lies at the heart of consistency and virtue. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind. Not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." A man who can master his emotions and desires, avoids meaningless temptations, and stays focused on greater aspirations. Self-discipline doesn't mean denying all pleasures, but learning to regulate and prioritize them wisely. For example, instead of mindless indulgence, he might reserve his favorite treat for special occasions, ensuring it complements rather than disrupts his overall health plan. Stoicism teaches that self-mastery is not just the key to achieving personal goals, but also a hallmark of inner strength. A truly strong man does not let fleeting pleasures control him. Instead, he acts with reason and integrity, finding peace within himself and strength in his discipline. 3. Blaming others. A weak man often falls into the habit of blaming others whenever he encounters problems or failures. Instead of confronting his shortcomings or mistakes, he directs criticism outward, placing responsibility on circumstances, those around him, or any external factor unrelated to himself. This psychological pattern often stems from a deep-seated fear of being exposed, or an intense insecurity, where admitting fault equates to acknowledging personal inadequacy. While blaming others might provide temporary relief, it ultimately reinforces a mindset of helplessness and dependency. This habit of blaming not only hinders personal growth, but also creates negative consequences in relationships. For a man unwilling to take responsibility, the constant evasion of blame traps him in a cycle of self-sabotage. By refusing to recognize his role in problems, he misses opportunities to learn, adjust, and grow. Instead, he becomes passive, reliant on circumstances or others to resolve issues on his behalf. For those around him, the perpetual blame can be exhausting and frustrating. It erodes trust and respect from family, friends, or colleagues. Relationships that thrive on cooperation and understanding may become strained or even break down. When he blames others, not only is responsibility shifted, but guilt and pressure are also displaced, leaving others feeling exploited or undervalued. Over time, this pattern of blame becomes a trap, preventing the man from building self-esteem and confidence. On the other hand, Stoic philosophy emphasizes that personal responsibility is the foundation of freedom and inner strength. When a man refuses to face his mistakes, he denies himself the ability to change and improve his circumstances. Acknowledging responsibility not only frees him from a victim mentality, but also empowers him to act in ways that align with his values and principles. Once a man understands that what he controls is his response, effort, and attitude, he begins to develop resilience and independence. Instead of blaming, he seeks solutions. Instead of feeling powerless, he learns to take charge of his life. According to Stoic philosophy, this is the path to living a virtuous and meaningful life, for fear of facing challenges. Avoiding challenges is like living in a safe box, where everything feels familiar, but nothing ever changes. A man who fears adversity confines himself to his comfort zone, missing opportunities to grow and develop. This behavior not only robs him of valuable life lessons, but also prevents him from building crucial skills, like problem-solving, perseverance, and adaptability. Take Kevin, for example, a man who avoids taking on new projects at work. Kevin fears failure and steers clear of responsibilities that require risk. When offered the chance to lead a major project, he declines, worried he might not succeed. As a result, Kevin not only misses an opportunity to learn, but also creates an image of himself as unmotivated and incapable of handling challenges. Stoic philosophy emphasizes that adversity is an inevitable part of life and should be embraced as epic teachers. Taught, it's not what happens to you that matters, but how you respond to it. Stoics view every challenge as an opportunity to practice patience, wisdom, and resilience. Facing difficulties is how you strengthen your character and live out your values in real-life situations. Kevin could transform his life if he began to see challenges as opportunities rather than obstacles. Imagine if he had accepted the project despite the risk of failure. He would have gained leadership skills, learned how to manage complexity, and overcome his own fears. Instead of being a victim of adversity, he could become a master of his circumstances, building confidence and the ability to tackle future challenges. Stoic philosophy doesn't just encourage enduring adversity, it invites growth through it. Facing challenges isn't about proving something to others. It's about understanding yourself more deeply. When a man steps outside his comfort zone and approaches adversity with an open mind, he doesn't just live stronger, he lives more fully, aligning with the personal growth that Stoicism champions. 5. Inability to embrace change. When a man refuses to embrace change, he locks himself into a cycle of stress and dissatisfaction. The fear of losing stability compels him to cling to what is familiar, even when those habits, beliefs, or circumstances no longer serve his best interests. This resistance to change not only stifles personal growth, but also fosters a sense of helplessness and frustration. As he struggles to navigate life's inevitable challenges effectively, such a man is often trapped in a rigid mindset, perceiving any deviation from his expectations as a threat. This psychological rigidity not only undermines his ability to adapt, but also creates a negative atmosphere for those around him. Family members, friends, or colleagues may feel strained or discouraged when trying to support him through necessary changes. This mindset not only delays opportunities for growth, but can also strain relationships, as his stubbornness becomes a barrier to cooperation. Stoic philosophy emphasizes that change is an unavoidable and natural part of life. A Stoic does not seek to control external events, but focuses on mastering his own responses rather than resisting. Stoics welcome change as an opportunity to cultivate flexibility and build resilience. The ability to adapt not only helps Stoics maintain balance, but also enables them to find meaning and inner peace in uncertain circumstances. Rigidity at its core is a denial of the reality that everything changes. But when a man learns to adapt, he not only fosters personal development, but also creates a positive influence on those around him. Flexibility and a willingness to confront change are not just marks of emotional intelligence, but the first steps toward leading a fulfilling life, where obstacles become opportunities for growth. 6. Victim mentality. The mindset of seeing oneself as a victim is not only a sign of weakness, but also a major obstacle to personal growth. A man with this mentality often feels powerless against circumstances, believing that all difficulties in life are caused by external factors. This perspective locks him into a passive role, creating a sense of helplessness that becomes an excuse for inaction. As a result, he finds himself trapped in a cycle of dependency and stagnation. Victim mentality prevents a man from realizing that, even when external factors are beyond his control, he retains power over himself. This mindset weakens his spirit and negatively impacts those around him. Family, friends, and colleagues may feel dragged down by his negativity, as their efforts to help often seem futile. Accepting the role of the victim erodes self-esteem and creates a toxic environment for everyone involved. Stoic philosophy offers a powerful solution to break this cycle. The Stoics emphasize that, while we cannot control everything that happens in life, we can control how we respond. The core insight is recognizing that true power lies not in external circumstances, but within our minds and choices. By focusing on what is within their control, Stoics reject the notion of being victims of fate. Instead, they see adversity as an opportunity to build patience, resilience, and wisdom rather than surrendering to helplessness. Stoics choose to view failure as a lesson and challenges as opportunities. This perspective not only frees them from the constraints of passivity, but also empowers them to live a life of purpose and independence. Stoic philosophy teaches that, by taking responsibility for their actions and destiny, men can not only build confidence, but also inspire positivity in those around them. It is the journey from being a powerless victim to becoming a strong-willed leader who takes charge of his life with dignity and tranquility. 7. Lack of purpose. A man without purpose is like a drifting boat carried by the current, without any sense of direction. He wakes up each morning with no clear reason to get out of bed, other than to face the same repetitive responsibilities. His job doesn't provide fulfillment. It's just a series of tasks to pay the bills after work. He spends his free time on meaningless activities, like endless TV watching, mindless scrolling through social media, or aimlessly playing video games, merely killing time. A man lacking purpose often seeks temporary distractions to fill the void inside. He may fall into fleeting pleasures, such as partying without meaning or buying unnecessary items, hoping these acts will bring him satisfaction. Yet instead of feeling better, he only grows more hollow. He doesn't understand why he does these things, and fails to realize they're simply ways to avoid confronting himself. This lack of purpose also shows in how he manages relationships. He lets connections with friends and family fade, not because he doesn't care, but because he lacks the motivation to maintain them. Conversations with him often feel half-hearted, filled with dull anecdotes rather than meaningful exchanges. He feels lonely but doesn't know how to escape the cycle. This sense of aimlessness and lack of direction not only weighs on his spirit, but erodes his self-esteem. Each passing day feels like a lost opportunity for progress, growth, or making meaningful contributions to himself or others. This state of being leaves him irritable, disheartened, and doubting his own worth. A life without purpose doesn't just leave him adrift. It also keeps him from discovering the deeper meaning in his journey. 8. Excessive attachment to material possessions. A man who ties his entire self-worth to his possessions and status tends to see the world through the lens of what he owns, rather than the values he represents. In his mind, the new car, the luxurious house, or the expensive watch are not just possessions, but symbols of success and personal worth. However, this obsession leads to an endless cycle of dissatisfaction. Every time he acquires something, he immediately feels the need for more to sustain the image he has created. This mindset makes him a victim of a shallow value system. He constantly compares himself to others, not to learn or grow, but to determine if he's ahead. Parties and events become opportunities to flaunt wealth, rather than foster genuine connections. Even personal relationships grow superficial, as he chooses friends or partners based on their image or social benefits rather than empathy or genuine care. Stoic philosophy sees these material desires as chains that bind the mind. Stoics understand that possessions are temporary, easily lost, and incapable of providing true happiness. Instead, they focus on cultivating virtues like wisdom, courage, and integrity, values that endure and cannot be taken away. Imagine a man consumed by accumulating wealth, to the point of neglecting what truly matters in life: time with family, joy, and simple experiences, or the profound meaning of living by one's principles. When life forces him to confront loss, whether through a financial crisis or unexpected change, he easily crumbles, as his self-worth was entirely tied to his possessions. In contrast, someone who embraces Stoic philosophy understands that true happiness comes from freedom. From fleeting desires, they find peace by living in alignment with their values, and in doing so not only achieve personal growth, but contribute to a better world. This is the path to a fulfilling and meaningful life that transcends the highs and lows of material pursuits. 9. Avoidance of responsibility. Avoiding responsibility is a clear sign of a lack of courage and integrity, often reflected in the refusal to confront life's duties and obligations. When a man consistently avoids responsibility, he creates a passive loop where everything becomes someone else's problem or blamed on circumstances. This mindset not only hinders personal growth, but traps the individual in a state of dependency, lacking control and a sense of self-determination. The psychology of avoiding responsibility often stems from an invisible fear: fear of failure, fear of facing consequences, and fear of judgment. Instead of confronting challenges, such individuals choose to step back, waiting for others to resolve the issues. This behavior not only erodes self-esteem, but also creates an atmosphere of frustration for those around them, as others are forced to pick up the slack. Stoic philosophy offers a radically different approach. Stoics understand that responsibility is not a burden, but an opportunity to demonstrate virtue and build self-worth. By facing responsibilities head-on, they display courage and integrity while strengthening self-reliance. They view difficult tasks not as problems to evade, but as opportunities for growth, self-improvement, and meaningful contributions to their community. Imagine a man who refuses to take charge of his financial responsibilities, leaving his family to deal with the fallout. This not only damages relationships, but also erodes trust and respect from loved ones. In contrast, a Stoic man recognizes that fulfilling obligations, no matter how small or large, is the path to creating meaning and fulfillment in life. By embracing responsibility, Stoics not only fulfill their roles, but also cultivate virtues like discipline and honor. This creates a solid foundation for leading a purposeful life, earning respect from others, and finding peace within themselves. Avoiding responsibility leads to disarray and missed opportunities to build inner strength. Stoics understand that true growth and a fulfilling life come only when we face challenges with resolve and courage. 10. Emotional volatility. Becoming easily upset, angry, or distressed over trivial matters is a clear sign of emotional instability and a lack of inner resilience. When a man reacts impulsively to minor inconveniences, he unknowingly relinquishes control over his emotions, allowing external events to dictate his mental state and overall well-being. This volatility not only leaves him feeling drained, but also strains relationships and undermines his productivity. Emotional volatility often stems from a lack of self-awareness and an inability to regulate one's inner world. Men who struggle with this tend to feel trapped in a whirlwind of negative emotions, leading to lingering resentment or rash actions. For instance, a simple scenario like someone cutting in line can provoke an outburst, creating unnecessary tension for both themselves and those around them. Such reactions not only harm others, but also disrupt the inner peace they need to lead a balanced life. In contrast, Stoic philosophy offers a profoundly different approach. Stoics cultivate tranquility, a stable inner state untouched by external disruptions. Instead of reacting hastily, they observe their emotions as an impartial witness, recognizing that immediate feelings are fleeting. This awareness prevents them from being swept away by excessive reactions. enabling them to maintain rationality and composure. In challenging situations, Stoics also understand that true strength doesn't lie in the absence of emotions, but in managing them effectively. They value the power of calmness, viewing it as a crucial tool for navigating life's challenges with grace and steadiness. By practicing Stoic principles like mindfulness and rationality, a man can rise above emotional swings, find inner peace, and enhance his character. Thus, emotional stability is not just a desirable trait, but a fundamental cornerstone for living a virtuous and meaningful life. By building inner strength and focusing on managing reactions, one can move closer to achieving lasting serenity. So we've explored the 10 signs of weakness in a man. Maybe some of these resonated with you, whether in others or even within yourself. But here's the good news. Weakness isn't a permanent state. It's an opportunity to grow, to learn emotional control, take responsibility, and find true purpose in life. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind. Not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." That's the key. By practicing Stoic principles, you can overcome weaknesses and grow into the strongest, most authentic version of yourself. Remember, nobody's perfect. We all have weaknesses, but what sets us apart is how we confront and overcome them. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and share it with your friends. And make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future lessons. Now the big question, which one of these 10 signs hit you the hardest? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you.